Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so here we are. Um, if you are part of the Patreon, there was like a pretty big announcement that I made yesterday, so make sure to go check that out. It is a little bit like hush hush on the down low. Um, so there's that. Also, don't know how that happened. Let's fix this. Um, so exciting news, and if you're a patron, I would love to get some feedback on that exciting news. So head on over to the Patreon and check it out. Hey, Mr. Fish, how's it going? As for me personally, it got really smoky again yesterday, so I'm feeling a bit congested. My eyes are really itchy. So if I sound sick, I'm actually not sick. It is just, you know, living in forest fire hell. Um, so there's that. Hello, Pezler. How's it going? Alcheminis. I like that name. Good morning. I hope that you are enjoying your long weekend. I don't really get long weekends. I kind of have to just work every day, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't work that much, um, so yeah, but I hope everybody else is enjoying their time off. Oh, it's smoky there too. Our air index is 10. So I don't know what the index is. All I know is I look outside and I can't like see across the valley. So, it's pretty smoky. It's also got like this like weird like Silent Hill kind of haze, which is fun. Um, so what else is happening in Tanyaland? I've been just painting a lot because I have like two leagues that I'm in right now. So, my Night Haunt are when I'm playing in my AOS league, and so it's an escalation league. I have to like add stuff as I go. So I'm painting up another unit of Blade Geist. So I did all of the red yesterday. I'm feeling quite accomplished in that regard. So, I did just have to finish doing like their little ghostly, spooky arms, and then the metallic bits, and then the basing. So I might even get these finished today after stream. We'll have to see, but um, these guys come together pretty quickly, and that was the whole point of this army, was to have something that I actually could like speed paint. So I'm doing those, and then I also have like a bunch of stuff that I have to add. Um, to my orcs, and one of them is a unit of beast snagga boys. So these are, I think, Primal Bruiser Assault. No, Primal Bruiser Shock Troopers B from Gear Guts Mech Shop, I think. See if I can get it to. Um, there we go. So I've just been working on the skin on these guys, and then once the skin is done, everything else comes together super quickly, because the skin is like the only part of my orcs that I kind of spend more time on. Everything else is pretty quick. So I might get these done this week. It depends how many games I actually get in, because I have to get my Escalation League game in, um, which is why those Blade Geists are a priority right now. But we'll see. I do want to also play Judgment. We bought it. I haven't played it yet. Pezler, Smokey over here as well, just finished a 15-hour print and just started a 12-hour one. And after that will be one more 15-hour print. You printed some big stuff for like centerpiece models, or time off means work on side things at home. Um, Yeah, like if I take time off, I'm usually like going down to play on, and that's still kind of for work, kind of. Um, Pezler says, is Tanyaland like Candyland but with miniatures? Yes. Just surrounded by miniatures. You could like potentially hurt yourself by having miniatures fall on you in like huge quantities. Alchemy says those Nighthaunt look so good. I just finished kit bashing 2 Skaven Night Runners from Grimghast Reapers. Oh, cool. I have like a bunch of Grimghast Reapers that I just painted. Like you can't even use as many as I have. But I finished them. Alrighty, so this is where we got at the end of last stream. So you can see the green base coat is on. It's a little bit darker than my other ones, but that's because I washed it black instead of washing it green, just because I did not want to do an extra step. So from this, what we're going to do is we are going to block out the muscles and stuff with Vallejo flat green from Model Color. So, and I'm almost out of this one. I'm gonna have to order more, I think. Okay. But, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in the palette, and it's going to be almost like a glaze because I'm going to water this down quite a bit. But not quite a glaze because this is kind of the base of all of the glazing. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and I'm going to thin this down. And we're just gonna start basically like sketching out where I want the highlights as opposed to like where the shadows are gonna be. So I see a dog hair. So my local game store wants to run like painting seminars and stuff, and I'm not sure if I feel like super comfy doing that. I don't watch tutorials. I don't know if I do things correctly. I feel like very uncomfortable telling people like how to paint because I do feel like it can be, like a creative outlet for people, and if that's the case, if you see it as art, then like nobody can tell you how to do it. So I'm trying to like work up the courage to just like get over myself and like run a seminar. But so one of the things that I was thinking about doing, which is like not really telling people how to do things, but I was thinking about doing like a color theory seminar, like the basics of color theory. Because a lot of times I do get questions in my inbox about people who are like, oh, like how do you decide on custom color schemes? So I was thinking maybe I could do a seminar on that. But I don't know if anybody would show up for that. I don't know if that's like something useful. And then, so, oh, another thing when you're working with watery paint, something to keep in mind is when you take the brush off of the miniature, it's going to deposit more pigment there than where you started. So you kind of want to like drag the watery paint around and pick the brush up off one of the top highlight areas. Wherever you determine that to be. Um, Pezler says, not necessarily a big model, but definitely a tall one. Got a nice custom Eldar webway gate. Ooh. So I'm going through the trouble of making it. That sounds amazing. Pezler also says, best to show people the fundamentals that everyone needs to learn. They'll learn how to do their own style as they keep painting. Yeah, but I don't even know if I do the basics properly. Jeff says, there's not a correct way to paint. You just have to present it as, here's the method that I use. Try it and see if you like it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. And, like, so what are, like, the basics that everybody needs to know? That's the other thing, because, like, maybe I don't know the basics. You know? Like, I feel like there's so much theory that I just don't know because I didn't bother to care to learn it. Another thing I could do is like I could do like a seminar on like how to define your own personal style. Is something I could do. But I don't think most people care about defining their own personal style, so I don't know if that would also be something people are interested in. I'm gonna have to move this camera this way a little bit. Oop. It's a little bit better. But yeah, so those are like my two ideas. Is like one is like an introduction to color theory, and yeah, the other one is how to like define a personal style for yourself. So if any of those sound like something you would be interested in, let me know. Because things that I think are a good idea, a lot of times are not a good idea, or like people don't see the value in them. So as you can see, I'm just sort of like sketching out where I want those highlights to be. It is still quite dark, and it's not actually that pigmented either. So I'm gonna have to go in once I have this area kind of mapped out and then do a second layer. But I want to map it out with a glaze first. And basically, as I go, I end up doing like less and less opaque glazes. So this one's going to start off pretty pigmented through the second layer, and then as I add the next colors in, which there are 3 other colors after this one, they get kind of like less and less opaque. So it ends in like a fluorescent yellow green, and that's just basically like a light hit of that paint. Just on like the very tippy top highlights. Jeff says, I don't follow the basics. I don't know how most people would consider my method. Speed paint contrast over a plain gray prime, but it gets my models painted and not looking 100% terrible. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, what is the basics for somebody else may not be the basics for everybody, right? Like, uh, speed paints and contrast are a basic for some people, but it's not something that works with my style in general. So it's not a basic for me. That's why I thought like maybe it would be better if I did something more targeted instead of just like a learn to paint class. Because really, I think that the basics might be just like telling people to wash their brush a lot and like telling them that most paint needs to be thinned down to make it smooth. That's kind of the basics, I guess, and a prime. You have to prime the model. After that, like it's kind of debatable whether that everything we do is like a basic. Solar, hey Solar, how's it going? Intro to color theory is a great thing to teach. Yeah, I feel like color theory could really help, like, even people who are colorblind just to kind of help make cohesive looking paint schemes. Jess's color theory is something I should probably learn. You could learn, you don't have to, but it is something that you could learn if you're interested. Okay, it looks like this boy's got some like metal plates on his face, so don't have to do anything there. He's got metal plates for like eyelids here, which is kind of cool. Alcheminis, what about proper brush care? That was a thing I wish I would have known when starting. See, and I don't do any of that. I don't take care of my brushes. I just buy cheap brushes, and then when they get wrecked, I just turn them into dry brushes. I don't do any brush care. Um, so I literally cannot teach that because that's not a basic for me. Hey, mostly Zen. How's it going? Thank you for the lurk. So that's the other thing. It's like, yeah, I just like okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of wish that I never agreed to like do seminars. Um, but I did so, and I did feel kind of pressured to do that. um, but yeah, now that I'm like trying to figure out like what I could possibly teach people that people would be interested in, I'm just like, oh god, why did I do this? I mean, I guess it could be a good way to like perhaps meet friends. Um, but I would, yeah, I'm in a tough spot, y'all. So that's basically like the first layer down. And now that it is mostly dry, I can go in and start doing another deposit of color on top. And like when I told you, like the skin takes a while, it takes a while. She take a while. Same, $20 for 60 brushes. So why do you need to take care of them? And like, what do you mean by brush care then? Um, Jeff says, I should be painting along. You could be painting along. You could be. I'm sitting here at my hobby desk with a model on the handle, but I woke up late and in a cranky mood, so I'm having trouble motivating myself. That sounds like you need some liquid motivation, which for me is coffee. Mostly Zen says, I'm okay, just tired out. I'm sorry to hear that. Painting a Dread Knight Orc conversion, which I'll tag you in on Discord. Ooh, please do. That sounds amazing. Okay, so second layer. Here we go. Really watery paint. It is basically a glaze. And I really enjoy doing glazes because I feel like I can build up the highlights slowly and carefully over time. Um, yeah, I just feel like I have more control, um, which is super cool. Um, and something that I kind of want to try doing is like doing the shadows a different color than the highlights and see what that looks like. I have so many ideas of things that I would like to try, but since I actually play all these games, I feel like I'm just constantly, my lists are constantly changing because Warhammer is insane and how fast everything changes. Um, so I don't get like the chance to just sort of experiment with things. But someday I will do that experiment. Oh no, not those. I wanted to get better brushes since I'm nearly out, and I had heard something about proper brush care, so I figured it would be a good topic. Um, if I were you and you're considering getting good brushes, I would just buy one. Don't like go all in and buy a bunch because like you may not like them. And I know that a lot of like good painters say that like you need to invest in yourself with good brushes, but like I did, and then I basically wasted my money because I don't like them. Um, so that would be my suggestion is like before you start thinking about good brush care, um, just pick up one and try a good brush and see if you even like it. Don't commit to anything. Jeff says, just finished my second cup, but yeah, another would be good. This is my second cup. I might make another half pot later. All right. But so here's the reason why I also thought it would be kind of cool to do like a color theory class is because I think that you can win um like favorite army awards and best painted and stuff. I think that you can win that with less skill than other painters if you have better color theory. That's what I think. Cuz like a lot of people think that my armies are painted really well, but I think that they're just eye-catching, honestly. Um And that's because I used color theory to determine, well, in a lot of cases, sometimes I just got inspired. Like my Night Haunt, just inspired. Um, and my Custodies were just inspired, but everything else is color theory. Well, this guy's just out here living his best life. I think that's what I really love about orcs is that they're just like always ready to party. So I don't know if you can actually tell. I can see if I can get it. You can't really tell, but it's pretty patchy up here because I've always kind of struggled to paint spheres. I'm not the best at painting spheres, and like the top of all these orc heads are spheres essentially. So, but I am leaving a little bit less pigment around like the base of this sort of headband. Trying to create the illusion of like a spherical shape. So, and I'll sort of continue that as I add more of the layers. I have not ever been able to paint anything spherical doing anything other than glazing. Um, I don't know. It's a shape that it's just difficult for me to grasp how light hits it. I could do a study, I guess, but I don't think I care that much. So I actually think that I'm going to just work on this little face area on stream so that you can kind of see how the layers come together. Um, this is what I think, because if I just do like the same color on the rest, I think that's all I'll end up doing. I kind of want to show you how it comes together all in one session. Okay, so I think that that's pretty good. Just gonna add a little bit more here, and then I'm gonna go in with olive green, also in the same Vallejo model color. And then we'll start putting on the next highlight here. Jeff says, that was what drew me to them back when I played. Orcs were just fun, goofy, and out for a good time. They didn't take themselves seriously. Yeah, right now in my life, I feel like they are a very good fit. I'm still learning sort of how to play them. Like the whole idea of having one turn. You have one turn to call the Wa and like do as much like as you can in one turn. That is very difficult for me to like identify. Is this the turn? So I'm working on that. But I do like that um, it can take like a bunch of different stuff and it all looks kind of varied on the table. All right, so olive green in the palette and same kind of deal. This is going to get thinned down quite a bit. So Now we're going to just hit, and I normally start off by like hitting the topmost highlight parts first, and then kind of blending out into the shadows after that. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just trying to leave excuse me. Um, and so yeah, I'm trying to sort of blend from the shadows into the highlights because that just kind of works better with glazing. Ooh. Mostly Zens, as is true. No one wants to wah prematurely. It's true. You want to wah when there's the maximum benefit. I will say that like that is one of the most fun parts of a tournament is like when one war boss wahs, all war bosses have to wah in return. And I just find it hilarious that like competitive wargamers hate it. Like you always hear them talk about like, oh, work players, meh, meh, meh. But like I love it. It's just like when you hear the wah, you're like, that is joy. That is joy. Oh, man, this smoke, it's not my favorite. I feel like that's a euphemism. You know, it's not my favorite. But like, it's like every morning I wake up and like, I feel like I have allergies, but I know that right now it's not allergies. It's just straight up like, just campfire in my face. Oh, we should probably clean the filter in our air conditioner. That would probably help too. You gotta do it like several times a season now, just because it's always like forest fire. Okay, more sippy sippy. I went back to making the little rules snippets. Um, the little YouTube. I was gonna say reels. That's not it. Shorts. That's it. Um, and man, my new camera just makes the close-ups of the models look so good. Um, it sucks for stills though. Like I'm not gonna lie. I think that I would need to upgrade the lens if I wanted to take better stills, but dang, the video is nice on it. And I can't wait actually. So I've got it on the charger here, but my beautiful friend Jared from Caffeinated Miniatures sent me the little microphone for it as well. So now I just have to like get past my like shyness and uncomfortability in like doing video in public. And then I can start actually vlogging. I always just feel like I'm annoying people by taking video in public, but maybe not. I don't know. It's probably just like my social anxiety speaking. Because, like, I do feel like people enjoy that kind of content. Like going to events and seeing what people see and whatnot. Someday. Someday I'll do it. I'm all set up to do it. So with glazing, as soon as you add that much water into the pigment, it really does change um, the color. So you have to kind of wait until it dries before you can evaluate whether it's like enough pigment. If you need to hit it again, like you really kind of have to be patient with this whole process. Alchemy says, "Oh, speaking of your YouTube shorts, I wanted to say thank you for the one that you made on charging and screening. That actually has helped me so much in my game since I learned." Oh man, I know, right? Like so when I was first taught that, I was like, "Oh, it is possible." Like there are some instances where it's very difficult, like anything that has fly keyword or whatever. It's not impossible, but it is like it takes practice to be able to do it. But for like most non-flying things, like oh, game changer. And like especially in Age of Sigmar, like I feel like well, I guess any war game really, like you need to make sure that those combats are happening on your terms. You don't want to be charged. You want to be the one doing the charging. So, but I do feel like it's even more important in Age of Sigmar. Because you don't actually have as much stuff in Age of Sigmar. Like 2,000 points in AOS looks much different. So when you get something tagged into a combat that you don't, like that's not where you want to be fighting, oh, it can take you so long to get out of there, or you might lose it. You just don't have as many tools. So you gotta make sure that you're using the tools where they're gonna be the most effective. The screening is probably like the best way to ensure that happens. He's just got such a sweet face, you guys. Look, he's so cute. Cutie little orcs this is. That's not watery enough. That's better. So, this area is now super wet with watery paint. So, I also noticed a spot I missed here. I'm going to go ahead and drop some of the flat green on there. And then while I'm waiting for the top of his head to dry, I'm going to go in and paint another area with the olive green. So I used to stream on Twitch, and I was considering going back because I feel like there's a lot more sort of like interactive tools for viewers. But I've been popping on like a couple times a week and like kind of trying to see what the vibe is like. There is not many people left there. Like I feel perhaps when I was streaming that like maybe that was the golden era for miniature painting on Twitch because it was like during the pandemic and people were at home and not playing games, etc. And yeah, now I go on and I'm like, where is everybody? Like, there's a lot of streamers, there's a lot of people streaming, but there's not that many people watching, you know? Like, it was like quite common to have 25 to 30 people watching my streams, and now like even the top streamers in the category only have like maybe 15 people watching. And I was like, what happened? What happened? So like I'm guessing that people are just like out living their lives and like doing stuff again. Yeah, it's like it's actually kind of sad because it used to be like a pretty, I mean, I had my issues with like the miniature painting side of stuff, but like there's like tons of people there. And now like where did everyone go? On the Warhammer tag? Yeah, it's slightly dead, right? Like what happened? Where did everybody go? Although I do like that like the categories exist. That is something that I wish YouTube had where you could kind of like explore different live categories, but alas. At least people can like search by your name on YouTube and find you. That was like the most bizarre thing when I was first getting started is like if you weren't somewhat established, like if people didn't have the URL, they weren't finding you. Like what? That seems shady. So it's like they're basically forcing you to go off the platform to basically every other social media site to get people to watch your stream so that you can even be discoverable. Like it's weird. Okay, y'all, he is so cute. I love him. I hope that you can kind of see like the shading that I've got going on. You know, I'm leaving some areas kind of dark. Some areas are going to be super bright. Now I'm going to try and do another layer on top of his head. And again, I struggle with spheres. So let's see how this goes. So when I am doing the spheres, I try to like pull from the edges up into the middle. I don't know if you can kind of see. I'm trying to brace myself here. So up into the middle. God, I was so excited that it was like sweater weather this week. I was like, yes, fall is coming. It's coming. And then it got hot again yesterday, and I was like, damn it. I am such, like, I'm just one of those people that feels a lot more liberated when I'm wearing more clothes. So living in the desert in the summer is like very difficult for me. I just feel a lot better about myself when I have lots of layers on. Alright, I think that's good for this layer. So now while I'm waiting for this like little top area here to dry, I don't know if you can see it's kind of wet. Gotta wait for that to dry. I'm gonna throw this lime green into the palette. Alchemy says, yeah, the whole market yourself on every social platform so you can gain an audience is kind of a little tiring. I hate self-promotion. I usually don't do it. I usually just show up and paint. And if people want to come, awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. But yeah, I'm just so bad at self-promotion. Like last night, I probably should have done a post. Hey, join me on YouTube, painting, blah, blah, blah. The worst content creator ever. That's how I feel. And I don't mean that in like a sort of self-deprecating way. I just mean like I just I just can't, like, I have to do it my own way. And that means it'll probably like never have like the super giant following of other people, but I just don't think I care. Jeff says, I tried tuning into a couple Twitch streams back in the day and I just couldn't get behind it. It was too loud and busy with all the stickers and sounds and wacky shit. Yeah. Um, so normally when I'm painting on stream here, I have my relax holy words playlist going. And that's like the vibe that I like. Kind of just like chill, we're just hanging out, we're talking, we're, just doing what friends do. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of streams that I think are trying to be like a game show. And like that's awesome. Like I actually really love Heroes Brush Hour. Um, but I can't paint when I watch that stuff, right? Like I can't do anything because there's just so much going on that I have to pay attention to that. I can't like be painting. Um, so I would prefer to provide that chill kind of background noise for somebody else who might also be painting. Alchemy says, I'm happy to finally catch your stream in its entirety. Usually you stream when I'm at my 7 to 5. Ooh, 7 to 5. Oof. Job and don't have the time to sit and watch. Oh, well, I'm glad that you're here. I was going to take the day off because it's apparently a holiday, but I was like, no, I can use this time to be productive and paint something. You did post something because I saw it on Instagram, maybe. I posted it to my YouTube communities because all I have to do is hit share. I don't have to cross post anything because, yeah, It's just easy. Share when I make the stream. Good. We do a post. Jeff says there's an obnoxious level of hustle required to get that huge following. It's one of the things that kind of turned me off of content creation. So I think that content creation is just really the creation of content. I think once you start sort of really fixating on the numbers and stuff, I think then you become an influencer. And they're different. Alchemy says, I get like 2 hours of overtime a day, so I'm not complaining. Yeah, I just can't. I like my time to myself. I just like to live my life. I mean, I am totally hashtag blessed because I'm working my dream job. Hello, I'm Tanya's dream job. Um, and so I do feel super blessed for that. But I just really need that time to get outside and touch grass. And I also just need a lot of time for like self-care and stuff. I'm transitioning from being kind of like able-bodied into very much less able-bodied. Um, so it takes a lot of like forcing myself to relax, forcing myself to sort of like sit there and like sort of ask myself how I'm doing today. I think it would be very hard for me to do this transition if I had to work even a normal 8 hours a day. Like, my job allows me to go out and take a really long walk midday every day, which is so good for not just like my physical health and my deteriorating joints, but it's also super good for like my mental health to get outside, feel the sunshine on my skin, and like listen to the birds and all of that. Um, and I just feel like if I had a job like that, that was like 8 hours just working the entire time, I don't think that I would be in as good a shape as I am now, all things considered. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with that lime green. We're gonna water it down quite a bit, probably more than before. Okay, let's see, what's that like? That's probably good. I'm like running out of water here. Clean water. Do our best here. I have a beautiful friend who actually is like a pretty big Warhammer content creator, and she's also making the transition from being um able-bodied to being less able-bodied, and she's really struggling, and like I feel bad because like I also was there. Like, I went from obsessively playing a sport to doing like literally nothing. Um, except walking. That's like the only thing I can really do. Um, and so like I feel for her. I keep trying to tell her like, you know, just kind of be gentle. Walk a gentle path. Um, it sucks when you need like mobility aids, and it sucks when you can't do the things that you want to do, and it sucks being in pain, and it just like it all sucks. But like we don't really have any real control over that. That's the hardest thing, is to like sort of like relinquish your control, or your illusion of control. Like I say, you don't really have control over your body. Um, and that's like the hardest thing, is just sort of like come to terms with your reality. But once you do, it does get easier. Like it gets easier to find ways to sort of manage your pain and um, find the joy in life, which I feel like she's not seeing because she's just struggling so hard, and that makes me so sad. Okay. So as you are adding the sort of watery layers, you're going to be adding like less and less. So you're going to be adding to less areas, you're going to be adding less pigment, that kind of thing. I'm like in the zone right now. Woo. Sorry if I'm going quiet. I'm sure you all know the painting zone. You kind of like get that like tunnel vision focus. That's where I'm at right now. Gotta say, painting orcs is really fun. It's fun. They're fun. No right or wrong way to do anything. To me, it's just like this is like the ultimate in freedom is when I'm painting my orcsises. I think it's so funny that like I sort of came to orcs by accident, by coercion, and it just sort of like turned into a job for me. That's so funny. So cute. I'm like, I keep saying to you, I need to get a different streaming camera. I really do. This one doesn't autofocus properly anymore. Kind of makes me sad. And I wish that I could use my fancy camera, but it's too heavy. And I just don't have enough space to get like a big fancy like mounting rig for it. I bought one and my camera's too heavy for it. So someday I'll come up with a solution. I just think I need to get a Logitech 4K webcam. I think that's probably the best solution. So maybe that's what I'll ask for Christmas. Also, super exciting. The Warmister and I are celebrating 10 years of marriage next week. It is absolutely crazy that we've been together that long. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Um, I feel like I've known people who've been married that long. They're like, it feels like an eternity, and I was like, oh God. Um, but I haven't felt that way yet, so that's good, I guess. Here we go. We're starting to build up to this like really bright yellow, this yellow green that my orcs are kind of known for. It takes a lot of time to build up the layers, but I think it's so worth it. Heck yes, congrats and happy anniversary. Thank you, Alcheminis. And thank you, Jeff. I always thought it would be like really difficult to get to the 10-year mark, and I mean, I'm not saying like it's been perfect. Like we've definitely had our issues, but it's not nearly as difficult as some people made it seem. I'm just gonna say that. And so and I don't normally like ask for much. I feel like I am actually kind of low maintenance, but I did ask. I was like, look, this year I would like an anniversary band. So I think after the stream we'll start going out and we'll kind of look and see what's out there. Go hit up some of the spots in town. Also cuz like my wedding band doesn't fit anymore. Um so if we can't find anything, that's the other option, is to like rebuild my wedding ring, get the claws redone, and maybe get it rhodium plated. It's gonna be expensive to get it sized because like everything, all the diamonds are bezel set, so they all need to be taken out. It needs to be resized, and then they all need to be put back in. Like it's expensive. But if I can't find anything else, that is the option. Guys, his face, he's so cute. And yeah, that dark spot that you see kind of on the side, that is because he's got, I don't know if I could get it to focus. He's got like metal plates for eyelids. So, yeah. Not gonna worry about doing too much in there because that's all gonna be metal. A little bit more layering in here. See, when you get to the, oh gosh, dog's starting to go crazy. Um, when you get to the higher levels, then you can start like refining the highlights. Then you can start sort of playing and making some of them brighter. And I think that's like the fun part because that's playing with light. Okay, so now I have to do like this spherical head again. So I'm gonna go in and thin this paint down again because it's super dry today. And go. I don't know if you can kind of see the gradient from like down at the headband to the top, but that's the look that I'm going for here. Trying to sort of blend it so it looks a bit more spherical. But I do struggle. I'm not gonna lie. I do struggle. So we're gonna let that dry, and then I'll probably have to hit it again. So I'm waiting for that to dry. I'm just gonna look for more areas that could use a bit more brightening up. Or blending out, like in this case here. My beautiful friend Tack from Play on Tabletop, um, he we were talking and he was like, like, do you want to be the CEO of Play on Tabletop? And I was like, haha, good one. And then I was like, oh wait, maybe he's being serious. But then so I asked and I haven't heard anything back, and now I'm like, oh god, social anxiety, perhaps being neurospicy, like, oh gosh, was he being serious? I do not think that I am qualified to be CEO of Play on Tabletop, but if my friend needs me to do it temporarily, I could probably I could probably be like a stopgap. But I was like, oh no. But now I'm having like major social anxiety about it. Oh no. I do not know. That would be a dream job, I think. No. No. No, it would not. As somebody who has like looked behind the curtain and also and I've been like the president of a nonprofit, I can tell you it's probably way more work than you think it would be. It's probably way more stress than you would imagine that it would be. Um, yeah, I am. Yeah, no, not dream job. I have my current dream job, so and that's the other thing is like I would be doing that plus my dream job. But yeah, I can't even tell. I can't even tell if he was like legit asking or not. Okay, I just need to wait for the top of his head to dry a bit more so that I can determine if I need to do another layer of this lime green before I go on with this bright fluorescent yellow green. And it is super fluorescent. It's like screams 90s. Like, did anybody else have a windbreaker this color? Mine was pink, purple, and this color. Oh, the 90s. Oh, the 90s. Oh no. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna hit the top of his head with this lime green once more, and then we'll go on with the fluorescent. Okay, so now, gotta wait for that to dry. I'm gonna throw this yellow-green into the palette, and we just need just a little bit because this is going to be just a tippy top highlight. And again, super thin down. Fluorescent paints are really difficult to work with, so in general, they work better as glazes because the medium is very different. It's, to me, it's kind of like the same issues that metallic mediums have. The really like transparent medium is it can sometimes leave brush strokes and it's sometimes not that pigmented. So to thin this down a bit more. That's better. So yeah, to me it just kind of like works a little bit better if you thin it down a little bit more. I'm also very hungry. I did not eat anything today. I don't know why I always do this before streams, but here we are. I never learn. She's coming together. I don't know, just like once that fluorescent yellow goes on, ooh, chef's kiss. Chef's freaking kiss. Just starts looking like a total babe. And again, because it's super watery, you can just build up those layers. And it can get pretty precise, actually. I'm going to do a little bit more of this color up on the top. I'm not going to add too much of the fluorescent on his sort of like chest neck area, just at the very top, because I want it to look like he's got some shadows happening here. Oh, my dog's going to need to go for a walk. Just going to add just a teeny little line just here. A little here. Oh, my goodness. Really, dog? You can't just like wait 10 more minutes? Okay, so looking pretty good. So I'm going to attempt to do his noggin on the very top again, and then I think that'll be it for that. And what I'll do off stream is I'll just do his arms because it's the exact same process as what I did on his face here. So, like, I don't think you guys really need to see all that. I can do that off stream. But it depends how much time I have because, like, well, all this league painting I gotta do. So if I don't get to it, then that's what we'll do next week. But if I do get to it, then we'll move on to like the armor or something. Okay. And then again with this bright color, just gonna basically do a little bit in the middle and kind of feather it out. I'll have to do a second coat here because it's a little patchy. So I'm gonna let that dry. But we're almost done. So what do you guys think? We went from like basically black green up to that. Just I find it so amazing that you can do this with like just super watery paint. Like acrylic paint is so interesting. And I know a lot of people also really like to use medium and whatever. I've just always done it with water. And yeah, I don't know. It just it's always worked well for me with water. I'm not really sure what the medium is going to do differently. I guess I could just try it and see. But then again, so this is why I don't feel like I could teach classes is because I never learned how to do things like properly. Looks cool so far. Thank you, mostly Zen. Okay, I'm going to hit this spot on the top of his head one more time. And I think I'm super happy with that. I think that we made good progress today, and I know that a lot of people will be like, you just spent an hour just painting the skin on his face, you crazy. And be like, yeah, I am a little crazy. But look how good it looks, right? Let me see if I can get it to focus closer. There we go. You can kind of see a little bit more of like the gradient effects, the highlights and shadows. So, yeah. So when people ask me, like, what green do you use on the skin? Um, it's just so difficult to answer that because there's lots of them. But yes, I'm very happy with the progress that we made. So we may just work on the arms. The face always takes longer because there's a lot more fine detail in it. But we might do the arms next go, or if I, finish my 20 models that I have on my desk this week, then I will do the arms so we don't have to continue on with that. But that's where we're at today. What do I have going on? Warhammer 40k Explained on Wednesday, recording the newest episode of the Brest General also at some point during this week. I will be getting an Age of Sigmar game in for the Escalation League and hopefully also test playing a new orc list that I'm working on. So I've got a lot going on behind the scenes. There should be also a new episode of Forge the Narrative out this Saturday. No idea what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure there will be sassy Americans, Canadians, and Australians on it. If you have any questions for me, of course, feel free to reach out. The best way to get in touch with me is through the Patreon Discord. But you can also reach out to me on any other platform. It just may take me a while to get back to you anywhere else. And that's it for me. So I hope that if you want to have games, that you get some games in. If you want to paint some minis, I hope that you do so. And until next time, everybody, be nice and roll dice. Bye bye.